time Nat came to the studio, I mentioned that, you know what, this is what we're doing. It's like a duo. And I love to do this with everybody that comes. But no, it's not an interview. You and I are just talking, getting to know each other, right?
Yes, we're just chatting.
We're just chatting. So, there's a Nashtan and a Natalie before we got on air. And we were talking about how she trended a few weeks back. Girl.
Oh gosh. Don't get me started.
And everybody was talking about you, girl.
4 days, like a full
And
week.
people that I thought would never talk about you were talking about you.
Yeah.
It was actually funny.
It was strange. I think the part that I didn't expect the most was seeing like people that I then also like follow, people that I knew as like people with like big following coming at me. Like I was just like, you
relax.
I'm really just a girl from Waterfalls, like, and now I'm gonna but it's okay.
It's alright.
The platform grew. We thank God for growth.
You know, I feel like it's a blessing in disguise.
It is.
It is a blessing in disguise.
Most definitely.
So we have Natalie Nachipo, who is a Zimbabwean content creator, social worker, aspiring entrepreneur. Where is the makeup artist part? Girl,
I retired. You are. I retired.
Why?
It just became too much for me. I'm very passionate about makeup, and my goal was to help people feel better about themselves in the process. But I ended up not feeling good about myself in the process. It's just stressful, like shades and matching and house calls. Like it was just a lot of work. So I just was like, it's okay. I did it to learn how to have a business and how to run a business. I think that's what God gave me that idea for. And so I can now use that knowledge to do the other things that I'm doing right now.
All right. So with a passion for personal growth, mental health, advocacy, and financial independence, she balances her work in social services with her journey as a digital influencer. Natalie has collaborated with brands such as Creamy Inn, Ford, and Zim Cyber City, using her platform to create impactful content. She's also developing a content masterclass to inspire and guide others in the industry. And if we're talking about content creation, I think earlier on we talked about how the closest country that is doing very well, the closest country to us as Zimbabwe, is South Africa.
Yes.
They are doing very well in content creation as compared to Zimbabwe. And just to bring back the conversation that made you trend, you mentioned that we didn't have, when you came back from South Africa after graduating, we didn't have, we did have influencers, but we didn't have influencers. We had content creators, but didn't have influencers. I want to know, okay, fine, let's start from the beginning. When you were young, did you actually think you'd be here?
Okay. You know that thing about David fought a lion because he knew he was going to be special in some way. I knew the way that I was obsessed with watching content creators on YouTube and just like wanting to learn how to edit on top of being in circumstances that have to do with media, photography, videography.
Yeah.
The pieces came together in a way where it was like, I didn't know at that time, but looking back, it all made sense. Like I was supposed to end up here one way or another. And that's what I think. I always wanted to be an influencer. I used to tell myself I'm gonna be like Jackie Aina. And I didn't take it seriously because I didn't go to Zonia Zechkoro and all of that stuff. Like you have to go to school, you have to do this, you have to do that. But being here now, it all comes together like in such a beautiful way. So I think I didn't know, but I knew.
So I want to understand what then inspired you to become a content creator, and how did you start? To those that don't know, you started way back.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
I've been here. And I feel like that's the part that frustrated me the most when I was trending, is that like people were like, who is she? Who is she? We don't even know her. But I've been creating content before all of these people. True. Like if you go back to my YouTube channel, you will see content as far as 2016. In 2016, no one had TikTok. No one had Instagram, and no one was building followings like that. So I've been doing this for a while now. And it's been it's 10 years now, 2015 to 2025. I think it's my 10th year. And it's crazy that I've just monetized now in the 10th year. But
and it tells us something about life in general.
Yeah.
And the thing with content creation, I think you actually mentioned this on your page one time, that we see the now.
Yes.
We forget the back then.
The back then, yes.
To the point that now we feel pressured. I'm only on 1K.
Exactly.
But it's more of it's a process.
Yes.
In general. So I
It's
want
a
to understand what's your approach to creating impactful content that resonates with your audience? How did you study your audience? That's the first question first before you answer how the approach that you use to create content.
How did I study my audience? So I think in the last year I managed to. I didn't study my audience, if I'm being completely honest. I think my audience studied me and then decided to stay. The way that I've managed to make captivating content or relatable content is just through being authentically myself. That will always be my statement. Be myself. I've always just shown up as my crazy self, like regardless of what I'm posting or who I'm posting about, or if it's my mom or by myself. I've managed to just show up as me, and I think that really drew my followers to me in that they know that there's someone who is not hiding something for social media, who's not hiding parts of themselves for social media. Obviously, you guys won't know life mango, but that's truly what it is. So I think just being yourself, show your circumstances, show your life, your day-to-day life, and people will come to be more understanding of you. People will like you more because you're just being you.
And that takes me to my next question.
Yeah.
How do you, what's your approach to creating impactful content? I noticed you mentioned, I think I've followed your content for a while now. You mentioned, I think about data since I was like in high school. You even mentioned that I'm an honors girl.
Oh
yeah.
Love that. Thank you.
And you've always shown yourself, your relationship with your mom and your relationship with your whole family. I want to know, you mentioned earlier, I think TSA, when you want to do this, even from saying I want to be a radio presenter, the first thing is go to school first.
Yes.
How did you deal with that as a young person? Because we are trying to be impactful to also the young people that are listening. How did you deal with that? Because obviously you had to go to school first before you started pursuing what you're doing right now more. Yeah.
So I think the main thing is balance. I showed my parents that I'm academically capable, and so when I wanted to take an hour or two to set up my little camera and do my little makeup tutorial, they didn't have an issue with it. And I think also my mom, being a photographer, videographer, media person, it made it a lot. I think it was a bonding time for us because she was like, okay, my kid is now taking interest in what I do, because I was like, Mom, please help me film this, whatever. And so she was very excited to be there because it kind of gives continuity to the business in one way or another, you know what I mean? So I think balance, and I just am blessed to be in circumstances where my parents are extremely supportive. Both my mom and my dad have never been like, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I will call my dad today and say, oh my gosh, I gotta deal with cream in, and he'll clap hands and say, well, that's good. Like, so I think I'm just blessed, and yeah, the circumstances just made sense, to be honest.
It is Capital 100.4 FM Arande's Heartbeat, hanging out with Natalie right here on the hottest station in my city, your city, and definitely our city. We come back after this. It is the pulse, and you can interact with us on 0719 100 404. What?
We're not going anywhere.
So low today.
Is it not because you're tired?
Harare is our
I'm not
territory. Capital 100.4 FM
No,
at
I'm
8.
overwhelmed.
Work?
Harare's heartbeat. Hashtag dominate.
Work?